Good evening, Ntokozo. It's really busy here on day 2 of the World Economic Forum. Leaders from around the world gathered here to try and find solutions to the problems that are causing distress around the world. We've been catching up with a number of leaders, and I'm joined right now by Mr. Patrick Dlamini, the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Development Bank of Southern Africa. Babu Dlamini, thank you very much for your time this evening. The purpose for this is a cooperation in a fragmented world. We are really meeting as world leaders in economy, business, and the public space in a very, very difficult time. How would you characterize the mood around here at WEF 2023?
Thank you, Xolani. It's quite interesting, actually, as we're engaging with the leaders of the world. The mood is that of fear for many things. As we all know that the issue of food inflation, the issue of energy shortages in many parts of the world, the issue of decoupling of technologies between China and the US, the issue of energy in many other countries, and on top of it, how are we going to make sure that just transition and climate change happens in spite of all of this, and how do we create an inclusive economy? Because the fragmentation is increasingly becoming a reality for many parts of the world, especially between Ukraine and Russia and the rest of the West. So it is something that we are all worried, because it definitely does have a spillover effect, especially so in the emerging markets like South Africa and the rest of the African continent. So we really are engaging, and we're saying what needs to be done, and how do we still continue to create an inclusive and prosperous economies. As South Africa, we have really many challenges, but what we need to realize is that behind these challenges lie massive opportunities if we really wake up to that fact. Because the issue of onshoring of manufacturing is also quite one of the topical issues here, to say countries realized how the global supply chains were impacted during COVID, and how they are further impacted by the geopolitics that is taking place between Russia and Ukraine and the rest of the Western world. And now how do we make sure that what is critical to us, we begin to bring back home and manufacture, so that then start talking to the security of energy, because as you all know that manufacturing will need electricity generation, and you must have that constant supply. And in South Africa, we've had massive challenges around Eskom. But again, they are saying, when are we going to solve this problem? Decisively so. And we're telling them that, well, no, we are dealing with these issues, and we hope that things are going to happen. Well, sometimes you feel like you have to pray for some divine interventions, but what we're hearing coming from our politicians makes us actually to say maybe there is some glimmer of hope. But I know that many South Africans will not agree with me, but they're not seeing much on the ground taking place. But we are saying all is not lost. We can still salvage our situation. We are not the first country to face these kinds of challenges, and these kinds of challenges just require a cooperation between private sector and the public sector and government, and also they just require decisive leadership and decisive policy interventions. And this is what we need to do, and ensuring that the right skill sets are deployed in the right areas to ensure that we service the people of South Africa and grow the economy and create jobs, given the levels of poverty and unemployment. Because this issue of fragmentation you're referring to also talks to how we are becoming increasingly polarized as emerging markets around poverty and wealth. So the few people who are controlling the economy are very much worried that it is not sustainable to have such income inequalities and these levels of poverty. So we have to do whatever it takes to ensure that we really support SMEs and emerging business people, to ensure that they create sustainable jobs for the peoples of our countries. So really, for me, it says all is not lost. It says if we really demonstrate to the rest of the world that we want to solution our challenges, we will have their support, and they are willing to come and invest into South Africa. The grid is a serious challenge in South Africa. What we are also picking up is that many investors are saying, but we want to have renewable energy in the Northern Cape, but in the Northern Cape there is no more grid capacity. How are you dealing with these things? And we are telling them that there is this separation of Eskom in terms of generation, transmission, and distribution. But generation, transmission talks to the issue of grid, because it's quite important that the generators are comfortable that how the transmission company deals with them and behaves is very, very important, because it's got to be very fair and consistent, including to Eskom as well as to the private generators. But really, I also derive courage when I listen to Minister Mantashe when he talks about Eskom and saying we can deal with these issues within a space of 6 to 12 months. I promise you he's not smoking some weed. So it is really, really possible. The good thing is he's sitting with policy decision. So the also move of Eskom to energy might work, to the surprise of many skeptics. But if we really can be able to make sure that we have interim power generation or power budgets or whatever to ensure that at least for 5 years we are able to have a security of energy whilst we are then overhauling many generation plants that have become increasingly unreliable for Eskom. And I believe that he really can be able to solve this problem much sooner than actually many people believe. So it's going to be a decisive leadership that needs to be provided, the right skill set deployed to deal with Eskom challenges, but also then Transnet is increasingly becoming a topical issue, how we're dealing with, especially with the freight rail, and they want to see really that issue needs to be, they need massive investment into the rail capacity for Transnet and maintenance thereof. And it is something that actually we know that Transnet is working on. And we are really their big supporter to ensure that they really succeed in this endeavor. But it is quite important for the economy of South Africa that both Transnet and Eskom really are optimally functional and are well operated to service the economy of South Africa.
Mr. Patrick Dlamini, thank you very much for your time.